I believe that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is from the 838 universe and was a part of the Illuminati that we saw in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And the story that we are leading into in Avengers Doomsday lines up perfectly with what Doctor Doom was trying to do in the comics and what we saw in the film Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And in this video, I'll explain how everything ties into Doctor Doom having better technology than our main universe Avengers, how he can travel the multiverse, how Doctor Strange gets involved and eventually does become Doctor Doom's right-hand man, his good connection to Reed Richards of the 838 universe, and how he was a part of the Illuminati. You see, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we got the Illuminati and we got what we assumed to be Ultron bots. We assumed that there was an Iron Man in this universe, maybe a superior Iron Man in this universe. And in the Baxter building, the bots that we saw were Ultron bots. Tony Stark in this universe finally actually figured out how to do it. He made Ultron successfully, most likely with the help of Reed Richards. But what if it wasn't actually Tony? But what if it was somebody who looks like Tony? Well, since Robert Downey Jr. is returning as, so they say, Victor Von Doom, we'll have a Doctor Doom who looks just like Tony Stark. And just yesterday, we heard a rumor from the insider My Time to Shine Hello that Doctor Doom is going to use the fact that he looks like Tony Stark to his advantage when it comes to him fighting the Avengers. And honestly, this is just something that we expected anyways. Doctor Doom is incredibly intelligent, one of the smartest people in Marvel history, which also would explain why in the 838 universe, the universe that the Illuminati are in Multiverse of Madness, it's so much more advanced because they had a Doctor Doom and they had a Reed Richards, who I believe were actually friends in this universe. Or at least Doctor Doom tolerated Reed and was very close to Sue and Valeria. You see, we know that there was an extra chair in the Illuminati that nobody sat in. So a lot of people are wondering who is the missing member of the Illuminati that was supposed to be sitting in that chair. Well, I believe that the person who is supposed to be sitting in that chair is Doctor Doom. And the reason that he was not there at that point in time is because he is out exploring the multiverse trying to figure out how to save it. This is something that he ultimately does do in the comics in the Time Runs Out storyline. And eventually Doctor Strange does join him. Then the two of them with Molecule Man attack the Beyonders, and Molecule Man gives the power of the Beyonders to Doctor Doom. From there, Doom creates Battleworld, and Doctor Strange, or Sheriff Strange, is right by his side. I believe that's what we're leading up to here. So the empty chair, I believe, belongs to Doctor Doom, and those Ultron bots aren't actually Ultron bots, but they are Doom bots. And since they are in the Baxter building, I believe they were most likely created by Victor Von Doom and Reed Richards. Because here's something that might upset fans a little bit. I'm not really sure we're going to be getting a Doctor Doom with a scarred face, not at first at least. Because let's be honest, you're not bringing Robert Downey Jr. back to the MCU to cover his face the entire time. They're paying him reportedly over $100 million in salary and bonuses for playing Doctor Doom in Doomsday and Secret Wars. So you're not bringing back the person who was Iron Man on the face of the MCU for over 10 years and pay him that type of money to hide his face the entire time. I do think eventually he will get scarred, but I think it will most likely be at the end of Avengers Doomsday when he fully becomes the villain, and that's when he puts the mask on. But when we meet him, I don't think that's going to be the case, which means he most likely didn't have the accident trying to build a device to communicate with his mother that scarred his face. This accident also got him expelled from the university that he was in. So if this didn't happen, that means he would have stayed at the university, and in this universe, he could have been roommates with Reed Richards, and since he stayed there, perhaps they went on to do things together. And that's how Doctor Doom could, 1, be a part of the Illuminati, and 2, contributed Doom bots with Reed Richards at the Baxter building. Also, Reed Richards does mention to the Scarlet Witch that he has children, which means both Franklin Richards and his daughter, Valeria Richards, are born already. Well, in the comics, Doctor Doom is the one who saves Valeria Richards, and he also saves Sue, and he also named Valeria Richards. And if that is the case in this universe, then clearly Doctor Doom is close with the Fantastic Four family. And that also means he's probably pretty pissed off that Mr. Fantastic and the rest of the Illuminati are dead. Now, as far as why I think he is a part of the Illuminati and why he's not not there, when the 616 Doctor Strange is speaking to the Illuminati, they explain that the Illuminati was actually formed by the 838 Stephen Strange. Because you could make the argument, even if Doctor Doom was kind of close to the Fantastic Four family, him and Reed still weren't that close, so if Reed formed the Illuminati, why would he invite Doctor Doom? But we don't have to go there because Stephen Strange formed it, and if he wanted the most powerful and smartest people in that universe to be a part of the Illuminati, you would definitely want Doctor Doom there. Second to Strange, he's the most powerful sorcerer that there is. In fact, in the comics, he is the Sorcerer Supreme at one point. And some people argue that that chair there was for him, but I don't believe that to be so. I think Baron Mordo is sitting in the chair that used to belong to him. Doctor Strange was the Sorcerer Supreme. When he died, Mordo took his place and therefore took his chair, which makes us now ask, why wouldn't they choose Doctor Doom if Doctor Doom was in that universe? Well, I actually think he's out exploring the multiverse, which brings me to the scene with Christine Palmer, where America Chavez and Doctor Strange are locked up. We immediately see that Christine Palmer and therefore the 838 universe knows a lot about the multiverse, and Steven even says, well, you must know a lot about the multiverse if you're going around naming different universes, and Christine says, yes, we do. And me, I named it. And she explained that she specializes in multiversal research at the Baxter Foundation. So they clearly have the ability to monitor other universes, and that's going to actually play a major role in what the Russo brothers recently said. They said that Tony Stark's death in Endgame is going to directly affect the story of Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. And I will explain how. Based on what Christine Palmer said about having a multiversal research department big enough and far along enough to where they have actually named the 616 universe and the 838 universe, and we can assume other universes as well as they look into the multiverse, that combined with what Mr. Fantastic told Doctor Strange about incursions and the threat to the entire multiverse, we can assume that the Illuminati here basically know that the multiverse is in jeopardy. For whatever reason, incursions are happening and the threat of the multiverse being destroyed is real. Now they can link that to Doctor Strange, but I believe Doctor Doom is out there exploring. And if you look at the technology that Mr. Fantastic has when he teleports into the room, it does look an awful lot like the technology Kang used. In fact, it looks pretty much exactly like the teleportation devices used in the Ant-Man and the Wasp post-credit scene with the Council of Kangs, where we see some Kangs teleport into that big field. Now, whether this is related to Kang Tech or not, it doesn't ultimately matter. What matters is Doom has this advanced technology, and clearly this universe has a way to go explore other universes. Plus, not to mention, Doctor Strange made a way to get into the Gap Junction, a place that exists outside of the multiverse. So this is another way that Doctor Doom could travel throughout the entire multiverse. So basically, we have established that Doctor Doom has the tech or means to travel the multiverse, plus he has knowledge of the multiverse given everything that that universe knows about the multiverse. So that brings me back to what the Russo brothers said. Tony Stark's death in Endgame will directly connect to the story of Doctor Doom. Well, obviously we know that this Doctor Doom looks exactly like Tony Stark because Robert Downey Jr. is playing him. Doom would realize that and use that to his advantage. And since he could look into other universes, and you can also travel back in time as well when you're outside of space and time, he could have seen everything that happened in the main 616 universe and use all of that information to his advantage. We've heard for a while now that Doctor Doom is going to have kind of his own team of Avengers, and even some of the Avengers that we know are going to choose to follow him. And I think our Doctor Strange is actually going to be one of those people. I think that Doctor Doom is going to track down our specific Doctor Strange because he is responsible, with the Scarlet Witch of course, for killing his Illuminati, including Reed Richards. And I ultimately think that this is going to lead to the Time Runs Out event where Doctor Strange actually goes alongside Doctor Doom. Ultimately, they end up creating Battle World, and Doctor Strange is Doctor Doom's right-hand man. And this is actually what we saw in that leaked concept art. If Doctor Doom is from the 838 universe, then clearly they think that Doctor Strange is a threat to the entire multiverse. But America Chavez did say that this Doctor Strange is different, and she had been around a lot of Doctor Stranges, and Christine Palmer even basically went with it and believed her. So Doctor Doom might see that as well, and he might see this as an opportunity to use Doctor Strange for his own good, which will originally be, I believe, to save the actual multiverse. And that's why he might act like he is indeed a variant of Tony, even if he isn't a variant variant of Tony. Even if this is Victor, if he goes to the 616 universe, he might try to play it off like he is a Tony Stark variant, so they trust him. Now, ultimately, it's Doctor Doom, and he most likely has ulterior motives, and again, he might be pissed at the 616 universe for allowing the Scarlet Witch and their Doctor Strange to go to his universe and kill Mr. Fantastic and the rest of the Illuminati. Now, I'm not really sure if he truly cares about Mr. Fantastic, but he cares about Valeria and Sue. And obviously, Valeria's father dying and Sue's husband dying will have a deep impact on the family, so he's gonna be pissed. And that's actually something that we had heard about for a while after Multiverse of Madness, that Marvel actually planned on having the people from that universe be really pissed off at the people from the 616 universe, and that story would be finished later on down the road. Having Doctor Doom be from that universe and knowing everything that happened could close that story finally and tie everything together very nicely. So to me, this story is all there. Plus, at the same time, we have learned that Robert Downey Jr. has been signed up to return as Doom for a very long time now. And we know that it was Kevin Feige's idea for him to return as Doctor Doom. So this plan has been in the works for years now. It might have always been the plan for Doom to be a part of the 838 universe and come into Avengers, what was once Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars, because Doctor Doom has always been a part of both Secret Wars storylines. So to have an Avengers Secret Wars without Doom might feel a little empty in the MCU. I think Kevin Feige realized this. So even when we still had Kang, I think his plan was to bring in Doctor Doom, maybe not to be the main villain, but to be a villain. And having him come from the 838 universe makes sense, and it makes sense that this might have always been their plan. There's a reason they showed us those bots, which could be Doom bots, and left that chair open. Marvel does everything intentionally most of the time, and I believe this is one of those instances. Plus, a lot of fans have been complaining about the lack of connectivity within the MCU projects. This could tie everything together very, very nicely. But go ahead, let me know what you think about my theory in the comments down below. And if you love Marvel and you want to stay up to date with the latest news, rumors, leaks, and of course theories, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.